Hi everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today. I am sharing with you another project of the month provided by Stampin' Up. We as demonstrators get a monthly magazine, Stampin' Success, and they often share projects with us to demonstrate with our classes and our clubs, or just, to try for ourselves. And it's really interesting. Sometimes I find they put things together that normally I wouldn't have used together, but then I really like them. So it's a nice way to experiment and use our coordinating projects. So this one is going to use the Free as a Bird stamp set again. As you know, I'm featuring this set this month. And we're using the Bird Ballad Designer Series paper. And this one's got some fun frilly elements there on the front of the card. So let me go ahead and show you how to put this together, and then you'll be able to go over onto my blog and follow all the instructions for yourselves. And if you need to order the projects parts, you can do that at my online store. And don't forget to check out my host code for the month. The link is below for you to get the current host code so that you can be entered into my end of the month drawing for free shipping. Okay, so let's start with our base card here. So I'm going to fold my note card in half. Now our note cards are a nice product because you get 20 note cards with the coordinating envelopes, so you don't have to cut, score, or figure out what size your cardstock needs to be. Now as you can see, we're going to put these two pieces of Designer Series paper on there, and we're going to add an element of this vanilla lace trim as well. So let's start with that. So with my snail, I'm going to add this small piece of DSP down the one side of my card. So just line that up with your edge. Okay, then I'm going to line some snail right along there. And what I'm going to do is take my vanilla trim here. I'm just going to stick that into the snail to make it adhere. Okay, now are you one step ahead of me? When I put the other piece of Designer Series paper down, it's going to sandwich that right between our layers, so we won't have any sticky adhesive left there. So I'm just going to trim that off at the top. Now we're going to add our second piece of Designer Series paper to finish off our background. And you'll find with our DSP that often the papers coordinate very nicely together. Uh-oh, didn't quite line that one up. Fold gently. A little more adhesive to those corners. I'll try it. Sometimes I work best upside down with these edges. So line up the corners and your edges, and then lay your piece down. There, that's better. Alright, and then if you find it's a little over, you just take your paper snips and you just trim it off. Or if you want to, you could stick it on your paper cutter and give it a nice clean trim. And I find that I can usually come right along the edge with my paper snips and clean that right up. So, there we go. Nice clean edge. Alright, so there's the first layer of our card. Now we need to work on our embellishment. So as you can see, I've used the stitched nested labels, and I've pre-cut sorry, from Whisper White, one of those labels. I'm just going to pop that out of my die. Okay, so I've got that pretty stitched edge in this nice new shape. Now with Pool Party, I'm going to stamp this bird image. I'm actually looking for the three together, but I'm first going to stamp off. So I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to stamp it onto a scrap piece. Then I'm going to stamp it without re-inking it onto my label. I'm just looking for those three birds to be on my label. So see, I've got that image, but it's not too bold. Then I'm coming in with my soft suede, and with my sentiment, I'm going to stamp right over the top. So now I've got my tag all done. Alright, so that's going to go on with dimensionals. So let me just add some dimensionals to the back of that. Now before I put that down, I have some other embellishments to put on there. So this card, it may be hard to see, has some vellum leaves under here. So with my leaf punch, I'm going to punch out 2 leaves. Okay. And with my glue dots, I'm going to add a glue dot to both of those. So I make them like little stickers. Okay, and then just peel those off. I'm going to put those down on my card. I'm going to do one up, I'm going to do one down, and then I can add my tag. Just peel off the sticky. And I'm going to put that right over the top. Okay, so there's 2 layers there of different textures and frill. Now we're going to add some more. So now with my paper, I'm going to stamp. Now you saw I just flipped that over, right? Our stack has 2 sides, don't waste it. So I'm going to stamp 2 sets of leaves, and I'm going to stamp 1 flower in my soft suede. Now, the project idea that came from Stampin' Up, they used a little metal embellishment there that comes with the set. If you buy that as a coordinating element, I didn't buy those, so I made my own by stamping the flower, and now I'm going to use, so I stamped it in soft suede, and I'm going to shade it in with my crumb cake blend. So I'm just going to give it some color so you don't lose the image, but you do get kind of a bronzed flower. And then I'm going to come in with, now they suggested Granny Apple Green, so I did use it and I do like it, so I'm going to use that again. So I just give the leaves Granny Apple Green light color. Now you can tell I'm not being super careful. You know why? Because I'm going to be fussy cutting these out. So if my color is a little on the outside, it's really okay. It's going to be cut off. And then I'm just coming in with the darker Granny Apple and giving the leaf a little dual color, a little shade and shadow. Okay, so there's that, and then I'm going to come back in with the fine tip on my crumb cake, and I'm just going to go right up the stem. Alright, so then like I said, I'm going to take my paper snips and we're going to fussy cut those out. I'm not going to do that on camera, save us some time. I've done that ahead of time. So I've got my 2 leaves and my flower. Okay? Now, the next step. We can go ahead and add our leaves. So I'm going to have my glue dots again. So I'm just going to put it behind the bigger leaf. That little leaf. Okay, so I'm going to add these to my tag flower here. Here it is. So there are my colored leaves, right? And now this is going to go over the top. But before I do that, when you fussy cut, you often end up with this little white edge. Here's a little trick for illuminating that white edge. Use your regular Stampin' Right marker and the brush tip and just kind of go along and add some color to that white cardstock. Now you want to be careful not to color right into your image. You just want to pick up the edge. You just want to add some shading to get rid of that white outline. If you like the white outline, don't bother. But if you want to get rid of that white outline, this is a way to do that. So right around one more petal here. So kind of have a more finished edge on that flower. Okay, so now I'm going to add that to the top of my card with a glue dot. Put that right over like that. that. Now I've decided to come in with my Wink of Stella and give that some sparkle. So right over the top. I do that. Now, if that wasn't enough, they also suggest that you add a small linen bow. So I'm going to take about 8 inches. And you guys have seen me do this before, but I do a bunny ear bow. So just fold your ribbon or your twine, your thread in half. Make 2 loops. Call these my ears. Crisscross them. Pull the ear through. Right? And now you can adjust the bigness of the ears and the tails, and then I just give it a good pull to tighten the knot, and then you can just take the 2 tails down together and trim them so they're roughly the same size. So see there, I've got my bow, and then I just take another glue dot and I roll it so it's thin, and I put that behind the knot on my twine here, and then I'm just going to add that right here below the flower. So lots of texture, lots of color in this card, lots of embellishment, but pretty snazzy, right? And then, right, we never leave the envelope naked. I'm going to go ahead and stamp. I'm actually going to stamp these off a little bit, so stamping off once and then putting it down. Stamp off again and put another one down. Oh, let's do 3. We'll have one go over the side. Okay, so there we have a finished, fun card project. So I hope you enjoyed today's show and tell. Like I said before, go ahead and link over to the blog. I'll have the instructions for you there. And on next week's show and tell newsletter, which comes out on Tuesday, which you can subscribe to for free, I'll have a link back to this video and a link to the tutorial all in one place. So if that is better for you, go ahead and sign up for that as well. Alright everybody, do some fun stamping, enjoy your new catalogs, and again, if you need to order, shop on over to my online store. I'd appreciate the business. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.